Hello. Thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel, Reverend Mealing. I've been known as Reverend Mealing, Reverend Susan Mealing, Lady Dory Bell, Lady Mealing America. Been known as a few things. As far as name-wise, I'm still me. So I was on the Twitter thing, and Como News in Seattle had shown some footage about these crows that were attacking the helicopters. And it reminded me, one day, or several days actually, so after going to one particular Medal of Honor art project trip that I was doing, I had returned. I think it was first time I saw that, it was 2016. One day I was just driving and I just saw all these crows, they were flying with me. They weren't flying like against where I was at. They were all just flying with me as I was driving. And I've had stuff like that happen in regards to many years ago when I was walking on top of the Canyon Lake Dam. I think it was 2005 or 2006. These two red-headed, I don't know, big birds, big wingspans, one on each side. As I was walking, I was like, hey, I'm just going to take a picture because this is different. I've never seen stuff like that happen, but okay, that's cool. That's cool, Don't mess with me. I don't have to punch you in the face to defend or beak, whatever, Just walking on top of the dam. And then afterwards, as I was leaving the dam area, I think it was 2005. It might have been it might have been 2006. Nonetheless, I had been walking back towards my car. Actually, it might have been 2006, I think. 2006 or 2007. Nonetheless, walking back to my car, and there was this older woman, and she runs up to me and she goes, "There's a baby deer." I was like, okay. I saw a mommy deer that was on the side of the road when I drove up here. And she was like, the mommy deer must have put the baby deer up here to go get food. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not good. And she's like, well, what do you mean? It was on the side of the road. And I was like, yeah, it was on the side of the road because it was pulled off to the side by law enforcement or whoever, just moved it so that way it was, okay and safe for other drivers. And she was like, well, there's this baby deer. What are you going to do? It's like, oh, I'll pick it up and I'll take it to an animal shelter or something. And baby deer just stood up and walked over towards where I was and, picked the little baby deer. I mean, it literally, it was hidden behind a rock. And then when I walked over to where the older woman had pointed to, a baby deer just came out and walked over to me and like, oh, you are so cute, little baby deer. Just walked right up to me. I was like, oh, I want to keep you, but I can't. I have a house inside the city limits. And I don't know if anybody's had this experience before. I don't know. But little baby deer, nuzzled and gave me a little kiss. And I was like, oh, I want to keep you, but I know I can't. And so, so I went and I put it in the back. I had the Ford Focus wagon at the time. And the baby deer was trying to get into the front. And I was like, no, you cannot. You have to stay in the back. You have to stay back there. And so I was driving, and the baby deer, it was funny. I have to laugh because it was funny. And so I'm like, okay. So I went to a gas station nearby. It's like, do you have like a Yellow Pages or something like that? And they were like, why? I go, because I found a baby deer. I need to get the baby deer taken care of. And he was like, you found a what? I'm like, yeah, I found a baby deer. So I took him outside, opened the trunk of the car, and I had the windows down so that way, could breathe and stuff. And he's like, oh my God, you found a baby deer. I told him the whole thing, and he's like, uh, yeah, maybe a wildlife shelter. So I got to use the phone, thankfully, to go and try to call, and then I found a horse shelter that had the ability to take care of the little baby deer, and thanked the guy and got a few things, and I was out the door. I went over. It was off of 46, I think it was. Drive out there, baby deer just kind of calmed down, like little baby deer, so cute. Oh, it was so cute. I knew I couldn't drive with it in my lap though. That's why it had to stay in the back, because it would have that's what he was doing. He kept trying to get to the front because he just wanted to stay in my lap, and it's like, oh, little baby deer. So I get there, go over I know that there were cattle guards that I had to drive over to get to the land, and I go to the back, and a little baby deer, as I open the door, a little baby deer comes up and just kind of puts its little hoofs up here. It's like, you Joe, look at you, you little baby deer, you're so cute. Give me a little nuzzle on the nose. It's like, you are too cute. Like, I really want to keep you. I can't though. San Antonio city limits won't let me. No, you're just so cute. So, I walked in. And the female was very nice, spoke with her for a while. Her son was watching SpongeBob, and we were talking and told her about my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, and she was like, so that baby deer just went, yeah, it just walked up to me, you could see it, and when I was in the house, the baby deer just stayed wherever I was. Like, he just follow. I took a step, he'd be right there. I took a step, he'd be right there. It's like, okay, well, aren't you cute little snuggle, snuggle? And so we talked for several hours, and then I got to take a couple, bottles to feed the little baby deer. And the little baby deer just stayed right there, just sniggled. It was I know I sound like a weirdo, I don't care. It was the cutest thing ever. And little baby deer feeding it a little bottle, and it started falling asleep in my arms. I'm like, oh, little baby, I want to keep you. You're so cute. I mean, you'll be good venison one day, but I am how I am. Nonetheless, he's so cute. And it did. It fell asleep in my arms. And she's like, oh, little baby deer, snuggle. I want to keep you. So cute. So cute, little baby deer. And talked with her and her son probably about 3 more hours. Just the most random discussions and stuff like that. And, she was like, yeah, he'll be able to run around and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's cool. That sort of stuff. And just talked and whatnot. After the baby deer got a bottle, just stayed there sleeping, and put a couple blankets over it while I was sitting there talking with her. I was sitting on the floor with the child, the boy, and he was just baby deer. I'm gonna name him Gary. And I was like, okay, that's what you want to do. Your name Gary. And little baby deer just kind of. He was like, oh, he's so cute. Like, I mean, it was the cutest thing. And so, then the female told me as I was getting ready to leave, she goes, you're really lucky I didn't get pulled over by the police. It's like, why? She goes, do you understand certain laws? What laws? Yeah, you just can't pick up a baby deer. I was like, well, by technicalities, the deer walked over to me. She's like, yeah, I could see that with the way he was, when in the house, because he was. When in the house, he just would, like a little puppy dog. Just only a deer. about the size of a puppy dog, realistically, but much later. And so, he was about this high, and you just take a few steps, and he'd be right there. And that's the sound they make. And it's like, hi. Look at that, they're so cute. And so, and then, anytime I got up after putting him down and stuff like that, he'd just come and walk over to where I was. It was like, oh, okay, you can't come with me to San Antonio. And I'm just saying, cutie. And go sit down, he'd get back in my lap and just go back to sleep like a puppy dog. Who's your little baby dear? Look at you, so cute. Just stayed there. And so, after a few hours, because I stayed just to make sure that he would, get used to the whole area, and then he did. And then he was, kind of playing with the sun and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, come here, I gotta go. And he, walked over and I gotta go to those snugly duggy little baby dear, look at you, so cute. And then, as soon as I went outside the door, it went, meh, and it was like, oh, baby dear, Carrie, so cute. So I've had a few odd experiences with animals. I don't deny that. So, I had gone back to San Antonio, told my now dead ex-husband about it. He's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would you rescue a baby deer? And it's like, because it was a baby deer. His mommy died, and I just wanted to make sure the baby deer was taken care of. It was at the top of the freaking Canyon Lake Dam. I'm not gonna leave it there. I couldn't help it. And so, then I dealt with stuff, and I was like, I don't care. I don't care. It's a little late by that point. Not gonna drive back out there and be like, I have that baby deer, but no. No. Cute little baby deer. And it's just the cutest little thing. So, Anyway, so back in regards of Washington State, similarly to before finding the baby deer and the big old birds just flying on side, they were not attacking me. They were flying side by side to me. And it's like, all right, cool. We're cool, right? Like, you're not messing with me, right? Okay, cool. And they didn't. They didn't fly at me like in the video I saw in regards to the crows that were going after the helicopters, but they were flying side by side and just walking. Well, I was walking, they were gliding. And I was just like, all right, what's going on, you guys? I'm just going to take some pictures, because this is different. Not every day that this probably happens, so, well, it's different, and so in Washington State, there were a few times in 2016 where just all these crows were flying in the fields on both sides. And it was, I guess apparently they're called a murder of crows. And they're just flying, and it's like, I didn't know you guys could fly that fast. Okay. That's weird, but okay. I mean, I guess you got the wind at your back. Okay, but, that's different. All right. And then when traffic stopped, because I was on my way to Seattle, they'd land. And I was just, because anybody who's driven in Seattle or from Tacoma to Seattle, the traffic in that regard at like 2:30 in the afternoon or 14:30, and it's like, hey, you're just gonna stop, okay? And then when the traffic, cleared up and could drive the speed limit again, they picked up and they all flew with me, and it's like, well, that's different. I gotta pay attention to the road, but what in the... It's different, okay, whatever. I don't know what to say about that. Other than that's different. And so, in 2017, after something, I think it was just before going on my Medal of Honor art project trip that year, I just saw more and more of those crows. And where are you coming from? What in the... Okay, whatever, it's a lot more than the last time. Where are you? Like, who put a whole bunch of crows in, like, a barn and just, like, you know, just I can get one more in there, just, like, sort of thing, and then just, like, out all they went, because it's like, what in the... How that happened? What just occurred? And so then, I'll give a better example. Hold on. Hold on. You know, when they just like, and then like all these like, they just flew out like that, and like that was, and it's just like, oh, okay, you know, sure, that's, there you guys are, that's different, and just hundreds of thousands, and it's like, okay, that's different, it's lots and lots of crows, okay. And then I went on my Medal of Honor art project that trip that year in 2017, came back and to Washington State, and I'm standing outside of where I was volunteering at, speaking with the wife and then a former but always Marine, and we're standing outside and we're talking, and just the equivalent of just of all that sorts of just crows, and I looked over, I said, you know, I've seen that before. And they were like, oh my God, where? And I go, well, there have been times, and I'm just wondering, who just kept sticking them, like I just thought it was like somebody who, I don't know, and we just watched this crowd of crows just fly, and just the sky literally turned black because of the amount of crows flying. I'm just, that's different. I've seen that before. I haven't seen that many. That's different. And the former but always a Marine and his wife, they're just looking at me, they're like, so how was your Medal of Honor project trip this time? Oh, it was great, except for this one part. Which part? Well, when I was in Nebraska, well, what was wrong with Nebraska? Oh, nothing was wrong with Nebraska. Nebraska is a very beautiful state. They're very, very nice, pretty, you know. There was this fog that showed up on my way into Nebraska, and it was just literally just a wall of fog just out of nowhere. And they were just like, oh my God, Susan. And I was like, yeah, I know. And so, you know, this just added, and it was like so thick, it was almost like trying to see through pea soup. You couldn't see through pea soup. You couldn't see through that fog. And they were just, oh, okay, go ahead. And I was like, yeah. And then, you know, I mean, that part wasn't so bad, with the exception of some dumb female in a white car at the time in front that just, like, decided to slam on her brakes. And it's like, yeah, that's not the thing you do. Like, that's not what you do. That's dumb. Like, stupid. And so then, you know, get into the area, because they knew I was doing my Medal of Honor art project trip. And I was like, I told you guys there shouldn't have been anybody in that location. They were both like, yeah, there were people in that location, and there shouldn't have been. It should have just been me. There were a whole bunch of people just sitting around, and that part was like, what? Like, if they were respectful, that would have been one thing. There were a few who were, but then there were the ones that were like sitting on top of the markers and using the markers as tables for picnics. And they were just like, oh, and just more of those crows just in the sky. And I'm just looking at, the wife and the former but always Marine, and they're just like, so what do you think about that, Susan? And I was just like, I think that was dumb on their part. I don't know what you guys believe spiritually, but I can tell you that was probably really dumb on their part. Just a personal opinion. But, to each their own. That was during a solar eclipse. I didn't even eat anything when I was in the cemetery. Like, I had my cup of coffee, and that's what, I had. But I barely even drank that when I was in the cemetery out of respect. And when I did have my coffee, I was on the macadam. So that way I was absolutely respectful. And then there's, oh my God, okay. And just more and more of those crows. And it was just, that is definitely, have you guys seen that before? Have you seen like this stuff going on? I've seen it a couple times. Have you guys seen that? They're just, not like that, Susan. Oh my God, not like that. And I was just like, well, that's different. Anyway, so figured I'd just do a quick little video commentary thing on that in reference to the video I saw on Twitter in regards to the Como News thing in Seattle, ironically. So that was just interesting. So you guys have a good one. Like and share and subscribe to my channel.